because the slide deck, there's 69 slides and it's too much to go through in a 2-hour window. And I don't want to rush through it just to go through the materials in 2 hours. There's a lot of content here. Pretty exciting because I feel like we've needed a class like this for a long time to teach us, you know, because we all say, go do video, Tommy, right? Debbie, go do some video, but we don't actually teach you on how to do the video. I'm sure there's some classes out there, right? But it's kind of neat to have our own materials within the company that is teaching you about video. So we're going to go through, there's 5 different parts. So we're going to get through the first 3 today, and then next Tuesday, we will finish it up. So whatever's on the calendar for next Tuesday is just going to get pushed back a week. Okay. So yeah, we'll work through this. Like I said, I don't want to rush it because it is really good content, and I'm hoping, especially for new people, that you guys really dive into this. And not just for new people, but for everybody, that it will give you a sense of confidence and direction and clarity on how to do the video. Good morning, Mary. Let me forward this over to you.
Can you forward it to me too, please? This is Fawn.
I think you're on there. You should have got it.
Am I?
Yep. I saw your head pop in.
I keep her off to the side just in case.
Blonde hair.
Just in case, yeah. Wait, put it on. Make my hair look
You
nice.
need longer hair.
Ooh, my luxurious hair.
You pop in there, so I figured you were there. So, all right.
There it is. I have it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, let me do a.
See, Fawn's been taking more classes since I've been on board now. I'm kind of twisting her.
Well, she was pretty good about taking classes before COVID hit. So.
Yeah, we were in person classes.
All right, I'll shut up.
It is motivation though, right? When you got somebody else.
It is. Yes, it is.
All right, awesome. All right, so today, like I said, we're going to break this out into 2 segments. And depending, obviously, this is the very first time. So you guys are the first agents to hear this material. So depending on where we get at the top of the 11 o'clock hour, I'm hoping I can get through the first 3 segments. If not, then we'll break wherever we're at the top of the 11 o'clock hour. Okay. All right. So before I start, do you guys have any questions? What did you come here to learn from this? Are you just wanting to dive in, or you're taking it because it's momentum? Is there anything specific that you guys want to get from this class?
Okay, so my appointment is
Tips, hints, you know, advice.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Build your confidence.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I think Zoom has, you know, and that's one positive about COVID, right? Is it's forced some of us to get with Zoom. And so now could you take your comfort of Zoom and parlay that into other videos and, you know, pushing out that content, because it's not going anywhere. And, you know, unfortunately, we don't know how long all this is going to last. And so learning to market ourselves via video is something that's important. So the purpose of today's class is want to increase your basic skills and confidence, and then having video be a part of your business plan and your dollar productive activities. The expectation is that you'll feel confident enough to incorporate video messaging. And then the strategy is creating human connection. You know, they used to say that a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? Well, what is a video worth when it comes to connecting with people? And so we want to connect and generate more relational capacity with clients, right? Which then turns into more leads and more sales. We have some additional classes tied to this. The next couple classes with Momentum are all new content, and then we'll be kicking off the series from the beginning. And so that, depending on how that lays out with the holidays, it may be in December, it might roll into January. All right, so our plan. So we want to become intentional and proactive. The word proactive actually is derived of the word to produce action, right? To produce action. And so when we say be proactive, what does that really mean? It means to get out and take action, right? And being intentional, that kind of is a buzzword, I think, these days, of just instead of, you know, having aspirations and different things, but being intentional, right? And it has a lot more meat to it than just saying I hope to or I plan to. So we want to define your aspirations, develop your GPS, which is your goals, plans, and strategies, your vital activities, which is one of the classes we teach in Momentum. And then holding yourself accountable, your personal brand, developing that. If you're new in the business, or Mary and Debbie, maybe your brand needs a refresh, right? Maybe we need to update it and give it a, you know, little bit of a punch, right? So identifying who's our audience, determine the content gap. And so when we think about the content that's being pushed out, is there a gap? And I believe there is, right? That we're missing some things, and or our messaging is wrong in some ways. And then determine the value, right? And then being a storyteller. And that's really, if you've ever watched a good person speak, what is one thing that they do really well? Is they're a great storyteller, and they pull you into the story. And so can we do that through our video? And the answer is yes. And then going over here, your video. So I gotta move you guys because you're in my slide. So personalize the video script. So one of the things we're gonna go through today is actual scripts on how to do some of this stuff. It's not a be all end all, right, with these scripts, but it's a good place to start, and it will give you some, hopefully a good place to start. And then also, you know, you guys can parlay off of that for a little bit of inspiration. And so then we have our tactics, tips, and resources, the value-driven content, establishing a schedule, and then tracking, evaluate, and improving. And that all comes back down to our dollar productive activities. And so we're not going to talk about the 47 vital listing and buyer activities today. That will be in a different class, but we have a whole 2-hour class that just talks about what are the vital activities that y'all should be doing inside of a real estate transaction, which is it's pretty deep dive. And of course, in marketing and your client care. So the summary here. So we want, basically, I'm going to read this whole thing to you, but we want to create a personal branding that is dollar productive activities. Okay. How to identify your brand, right? How to deliver that to your audience through storytelling. And then we want to basically establish your confidence, right? And your ability to message around the video. And the end result is to leverage, right? We want everything that we do, Jessica, is leverage, right? Because leverage gets us to the next place. Okay. And so, you know, good job to Tommy. I did watch your first video, and you did, it was, I know you said you used the word beautiful a lot, but it was
I gotta get some more adjectives.
yes, that was nerves. That was nerves. And just, you know, we used to call those crutch words in Toastmasters, right?
Yeah.
People will fall on a word, and you know, we would talk about the ums and the ands, and you know, those uncomfortable pauses, right? But you did a job, and that was just all nerves, and so you pushed through it. And so next time and you seemed very natural as far as your language and stuff on screen. So I know
Fawn was laughing at me the whole time.
The cameraman was great.
she was making faces and stuff. I was like, come on. But we had a good time.
I thought he did great.
Yeah, we had a good time with it though.
Better than I would have done.
I'll get better. I'll get way better at it though.
Absolutely. And good job to you for being intelligent and really jumping on board.
The things electives.
And every time you do it, it's going to get easier and easier. All right. Awesome. Okay, let me get my slide here. Okay, so section 1, so your video and your brand. Okay, so video is extremely powerful, and we want to incorporate it into your business plan for a couple of reasons, right? Humanize yourself, so you're going to be able to put your personality to the name, create relatability. Okay, so connecting with your audience through that video, and then establishing credibility as the expert on the subject matter. And I don't care what that subject matter is, right? We can build out a series of videos that go throughout the transaction. So from the time you get a new buyer lead till the time they go into escrow and then they close, or a seller, you can build out, and it's called evergreen content, and that meaning that it stays viable forever, right? It's evergreen. And so could you create a whole series of videos that, okay, now you're in escrow, what comes next, right? And have a whole component there. Could you do around the home inspection, around pre-qualifying? I mean, the sky's the limit when it comes to establishing yourself as the subject, you know, an expert in the subject, whatever that subject is. Firsthand display of your character, your expertise, and your knowledge, and your character. That's what people connect with. If they're going to trust you to help them with the largest decisions they're making at this point in their life. Okay, deliver that experience that stands out above the crowd, and then strengthens your relationships and helps to build new ones. And so most importantly, the average video message is outperforming the non-video counterpart, right? And so even those of you that are a little bit shy, you know, I would definitely encourage you to use the Remax videos that are out there, all the commercials and stuff, because that again is good content that can push out. But we all have to get better at feeling more comfortable with doing video, because it's not going anywhere. Unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever you look at. So leveraging the video for financial proof. So homeowners say that they are more likely to work with an agent who uses video. I think that's an important statistic to know. Marketing professionals worldwide name video as the type of content with the best return on investment. And so could that be like what Tommy did, and it's just a walking tour? And Tommy, I'm curious, how much interaction did you get from that? How many likes and comments and shares?
You know, it's funny. I got about 500 views, and I didn't get a ton of comments. Normally, when I post, I go more for comments. I like to, you know, interact with people. I like to get people talking about stuff. But I made actually 4 that weekend, and they all got around 500 views. So the word's getting out there. And like I said, sorry, as I get better at it, I'll get more entertaining at it. And, I'm kind of known as a big teddy bear goofy guy. I'm kind of funny and try to be anyway, I guess, even if I make fun of myself. But I'll find my foothold in this. And you'll see it'll get better. And especially with classes like this really does help.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So just, that it is a really good return on investment. I did not to sidetrack the conversation, but I did that post last week of which kitchen do you like? And that thing, I'm still getting comments on it a week later. So, things like that engage your audience is and the thing about social media is you got to keep going until you find what sticks, right? And video is definitely a way to do that. And it doesn't have to be long videos. Jessica and I had a conversation yesterday about doing like TikTok videos, and how do you build content with even that platform, right? Which is all based on video. So video drives, it increases your organic traffic, right? Through search engine results. It could be used in email, right? Which we're going to talk about, and I'm going to give you guys some specific scripts on how to use video in email. And then marketers who use video grow revenue faster than non-video users. And yet, not that many agents are doing it, right? And then I think there's a limitation in, one, I don't like the way I look, or I need to lose 20 pounds, or I don't like the sound of my voice, I'm too short, I'm too whatever, right? And so that's a limiting thought. And then two, I think people get hung up on having the right equipment or having this expensive equipment. And those of you who have the new Apple phone, your camera on that thing is probably better than the cameras you can buy on the market right now. So don't let that be a stumbling block, okay? I go back again, we talked a lot last week about the dude who went viral on the TikTok video, cruising along on his longboard, and now everybody's doing that. The news the other day was doing it, and so everyone's parlaying off of that. And again, I honestly do not think that guy thought for a second that his TikTok video would become a worldwide sensation. And so again, just that reminder, and it's worth repeating, is that always be thinking in the back of your mind is, what I'm doing right now, is it worthy of being posted? And will it get the results, right? Of course, you want to be careful with that. Let me say, is it professional what you're doing, and should it be posted on Facebook? Because there's sometimes people put things out there like, whoa, a little TMI there. All right, so why aren't you leveraging video? So again, comfort zone, right? We don't want to appear stupid. We don't want to feel like we don't know what we're doing, right? And again, all those limited thoughts. I don't like the way I sound. I need to lose weight, etc., etc. And here's the thing. I remember telling one of my best friends, we were going to get together at her house, and she was like, you can't come over, my house isn't clean. And I remember telling her, like, I'm not coming over to look at your baseboards, like, I'm coming over to see you. And so the same thing applies to the video. They don't care, right? They want to connect with you. And that's not what they're not looking at your video, Debbie, and saying, oh, Debbie's voice, I never understood, I never noticed that about her, right? That's what I do when I listen to myself. I'm like, where did I get that accent? Why am I that word like that? And so they're not doing that though, right? They're tuning in because they love you, and they know you have something of value to share with them. Okay. So in the spirit of expanding your comfort zone, let's establish. So lack of motivation, so we have no vision. I don't know, I hope that doesn't apply to any of us, right? Lack of direction, I think that might be true, right? We don't have a plan. I don't know what to say. It's not on my calendar. Talk is cheap. No discipline, that could be definitely, it ties to lack of focus, right? I don't know what to say. I don't know who to message to. I don't know how to. And then lack of support, so no community or mentorship. Well, we can check that one off, right? Because we've got a whole office full of community support, and everybody here is willing to help each other. And you guys know at Arrowhead North, they kind of have a little bit of a green room set up in there. In that one conference room, there's a whiteboard, and it's, they've got that space in there set up. So if you ever wanted to do video in the office, you could certainly go in there, and it's a good space to do video, because you can write on the whiteboard, and it's just a nice room to create video. All right, so building your personal brand. So the must-haves of creating personal brand. So you got to be authentic, right? When we were selling bank-owned properties, the banks didn't care about who you were, right? You were just a number. You were just an REO account. And now we work with real people again, and you get to be who you are. You get to be authentic and connect with people. If there's something that you love to do, and that's going to connect with a certain niche, then by all means, share it. It must be a reflection of what you do, the services you provide, right? And your expertise and knowledge. It needs to amplify what you believe. And hopefully all of us believe that is the best thing since sliced bread, right? And that home ownership transcends so much more than just the taxes and the equity and all of that. I mean, it changes people's lives and changes children's lives. Then it must be a thoughtful display of your ideals, right? Your personality, your beliefs, your values, your value proposition. So these are all the things that creating a personal brand needs to be. So you guys, when you look at like Nate's brand, he's one of Arizona's natural resources. Frank Russo's was down to earth, down to business. Thinking about kind of a little slogan for yourself. Debbie and Mary, do you guys have anything that you use currently for your kind of like your personal slogan? You're on mute, Mary.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore?
Not really.
I'm kind of surprised by that because you ladies have been around for a long time. Linda, what about you? Do you got, I think you have a slogan, don't you?
Our business is real estate, but our real business is people.
There you go. Love it. And that, if you know Linda, that is a very true statement, right? Because it's all about the relationships and all about the people first. So just thinking about, what is something that would brand you, and then checking the boxes of all these things that really connects with you and then connects you to your audience. Okay. All right. So building your personal brand. So where we want to be at is in that red, right? Your personal brand. So in your materials, there's a place for you to write down or write it wherever, is one word that you would use to describe yourself. And then what is a word someone else, like the outside, your audience, would describe you as, your best friend, your family, whoever, right? That you trust to give you good feedback. What would be a word that they would use to describe you? And so then you have your values, visions, and passions. So what do you say? How do you see yourself? And then how others see you, right? How do those people feel when they interact with you? And so this would be, I love when I see this on Facebook where people are like, how do we meet, or share one word that reminds me of you, right? And then it always takes off like wildfire. And most people are very kind when they post things like that, right? And they really are genuine and helping you in that. So not to say go put it on social media, but maybe it's a place you start if you don't know what people see in you or what they say about you. Just be careful that they're being kind, because right now there could be some not cool stuff on social media. But this is a good way to get you started if you don't have anything. Is what is one word that describes you, and then what's a word that people would describe you as. Okay, so the golden rule of video is being a storyteller. Kind of touched on that when we first started, is being a good storyteller. I just saw two really awesome speakers last week on a 2-day training I was on, and both of them were, even on Zoom, they were amazing storytellers that just really drew you in. And I found myself just like holding my breath, waiting for the next, for them to say the next thing. And so being a really good storyteller, and how does that apply to real estate? Well, one, it applies to the process, right? We could be a storyteller in how to, find a home or how to negotiate in this market, but we could also be a storyteller when we're selling the property, right? When we're doing a virtual tour of a home, we could be a storyteller in the sense that how's your life going to be living in this home, right? And so I would pay attention to some people that you like listening to, and pay attention to the stories and how they draw you in. Okay. The purpose is to create a narrative setting, right? So have an emotional connection with your viewer. And then the reminder, the mind justifies what the heart decides. Let's repeat that. The mind justifies what the heart decides, right? And so when narrating, lead with emotion. And so when we talk about what would your life be like living in this home, right? Or what is your life like after you own a home? And so really thinking about, how do I connect with the emotion of that person? All right, so we want to, so here's your, the story, the acronym, stand out. Okay, what makes you different from everybody else? There's 90,000 people running around out there with a license in Arizona. So everybody knows somebody who has a license. And so what makes you different and stand out? What makes you unique? Establish yourself for what you want to be known for. Is there a specific niche? Jessica and I talked yesterday, and she's bilingual. And so one of one of the things she wants to be known for is in the Hispanic community and being able to help people in the Hispanic community buy a home, right? And so that would be not necessarily a niche, but something that she could be an area that she's focusing in on. Okay. Onlookers. So identify your target audience. Is it everybody on your social media, or are we trying to winnow down and just speak to a certain audience? Now, caveat, just like we talked about last week, is make sure you're adhering to all the fair housing guidelines. So who do you want to hear your story on your social media? And then the R stands for relevant. So what content is relevant and valuable to your audience right now? I think, we talk about the evergreen content that's always going to be valuable, but then there's topical stuff that relates to the current market conditions, right? Interest rates, that's a good one right now. There's some buzz. We talked a little bit about this last week on the training, is, people worried about the election and who's going to be elected the next president. And the thing is that real estate goes on, no matter who's in the White House, real estate goes on, right? People's need for homes still goes on. And so what are things that we could talk about? And what they shared last week, instead of focusing in on the unemployment rate, they actually focused in on the employment rate. And so I had a different view of it. Instead of focusing on the negative, focusing on the positive. And so how can we create that relevant value, right? And then what's the gap? What's the content gap? And then the Y stands for yearning. So identify what type of content your audience is missing. And then what is, no one else is doing it the way that you can. Okay. And so when we think about that, what are some of the gaps? I think, educating people about the market value and really getting tactical in the sense that 3% interest rate equates to about $30,000 in buying power. And so when you're talking to somebody, Daniel, and they talk about the prices going up, well, that's okay. The prices can go up, but because the interest rate is relative in that, they might actually be able to afford more, right? To keep the same payments. And so I'm not saying just go out and, great news, guys, the interest rates are low. Let's put some meat behind that, right? And go, the interest rates are low. And what does that mean to you as a consumer? Okay. And not just first-time home buyers, but what about people who need to buy up? I have a friend of mine that's living in 1,300 square feet with 6 kids. They need to buy up. Right? So, and they're all being homeschooled. So imagine that, right? Her picture of first day of school was exactly what I had in my mind. All 6 of them around the kitchen table with their devices, right? And so not just giving the information, you guys, but then what does that information mean to them? Right? How does it apply to you? Okay. And that's being a storyteller, right? Is showing them relevant stuff. All right, so delivering the value within your story. So how will I be valuable to my audience? So in other words, what does your audience need? So we need to be needs to have a powerful impact to change behavior or take action, right? Your CTA. So with any marketing that you guys do, you want to have a strong call to action. And so when I receive this marketing from Tommy, what is it causing me to do? Right? And then shelf life. How long am I going to hang on to that? So if you think about the Twinkie has no expiration date, which is really horrifying. And yet we saved the Twinkie. And so when we think about that, is what's the call to action? What am I going to do as a result of receiving this? So same thing with video. What's my call to action, right? What am I wanting to do because of this? And then increase education on a specific topic. So number one, identify your target audience. And this is geared probably more a little bit towards business pages, although you do have audiences within your personal pages. And just make sure, you guys, that you have a business page, and then also that you're doing both, right? Because most of us are using our personal pages. Let's just be real about that, right? Because that's where our audiences are and that's where we're getting the engagement. But Facebook rules say you need to have both, okay? And you can't boost through your personal page, meaning pay for ads, okay? And then you want to identify the content gap. So, and then the question, those two things together equal, how will you be valuable? Okay, so when considering the content that's most valuable to your audience, you want to establish or position yourself within the resource hub for your audience. Now, side note on this is you don't want to be all boring and stuffy and just constantly be pushing real estate down people's throats. Because like if you're just always posting articles about what's happening, that gets boring, right? And even the posts of, oh, I sold another house, great, but how about being a storyteller in that, right? And talking about the process. How long did you know the people? What was their, why did they sell, right? And we get, and I know I've said this to you guys last week, but we got some new people on the call, is, you know, be really careful about those posts where you're putting out that this house sold in 5 hours with 25 offers, right? Because we're conveying the wrong message and putting that out there. Instead, wow, the market's really crazy. We received multiple offers. This is how I help the seller pick which offer was the right decision for them. And this is how we're going to navigate this process, right? So be the storyteller in that and maintain the need for you, right, as the agent. So deliver the value-driven content. So relevant, right? Something the audience needs. It's meaningful and appropriate. It's irresistible. So not only do they want it, it's also enticing and appealing, and then it's irreplaceable. So they can't get it somewhere else. That it hopefully only be found by you. And then the other component is that it's rare and unparalleled. So unique. Okay. So you want to be the resource hub, but don't always just be stuffy and boring, right? With the content. You want to have some fun with it. After all, it is called social media. All right, so section 2, so becoming intentional, proactive, and dollar productive. So when we look at the success, it's multidimensional, right? And so we have this in, I think this is from the Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, out of that book. But so we look at the one side, we have intentional and inactive, right? I'm content. I'm not going to do anything. Talk is cheap. I want it, but I'm not willing to do the work. Then we have unintentional and inactive. That equals to failure, right? We can all agree on that. And then we have accidental and proactive, which I find happens for new agents, right? They just accidentally fall into something, right? But that leads ultimately to frustration, okay? And what we want you to be at is the top corner here that says intentional and proactive, because that equals abundance. So it means that I want it, I'm clear about it, and I am going to move towards it, right? So I'm being intentional. And what does proactive mean? To produce action, right? And so that equals abundance. All right, so the model for success. So intentional, define your aspirations. What do you want? They must be specific, right? And then we want to have our GPS, which is your goals, plans, and strategies. And that creates the direction that you're headed in. And then we have to have willingness, right? Your motivation, and then your abilities, which is your training, and that equals your expectation. And then the third thing here is implementing the vital activities. So we want to consistently be moving towards them. And then being accountable, right? If we don't have an accountability, how do we keep ourselves, we need to have accountability partners so we can keep ourselves moving towards that. So, Fawn and Tommy, can you guys keep each other accountable, or is that too close to home?
I keep her on point and she keeps me on point. We have a nice little happy competition going amongst us. So it's good. It's like two people in the gym just pushing each other to do better. Really
good. Awesome. I love it. So yeah, if you don't have an accountability person, definitely reach out and let's get you hooked up with somebody, because it is a game changer when you can have someone kind of pushing you, and I love that friendly competition. All right, so define your video aspirations. So what's your goal with video? Jessica and it was Sarah Clayton yesterday, we had a conversation about if doing video means this much more towards your goals, are you going to do it? If doing it gets you that much closer to where you want to be at, are you willing to do it? And of course she said yes, right? And so the 4 stages of an aspiration. We have want, right? We're going to talk about it, but talk is cheap. We have desire, which means I'm going to move towards it as long as it's easy and convenient, or in other words, I can stay in my comfort zone. Or we have passion, which means I'm willing to suffer for it. And then there's obsession, which we don't want you to get into the obsession, because that starts to be unhealthy, controls your life, and it's all you focus on. And that can happen real easily in this industry, because it blurs the lines in so many ways that, it's not an 8 to 5, right? Unless we establish it that way. And me personally, I love it. So for me, I can get obsessed with it, but it doesn't feel like it's unhealthy because I love it so much, right? But we want you to be in that number 3 is the passion, right? Be very passionate about it. You ever spend any time with Nate? I mean, that man is passionate about the real estate industry. Every day gets up, doesn't matter what's being thrown at him, he is passionate about it. So he definitely is a great example of, getting outside the comfort zone, constantly reinventing himself and constantly looking to just up his game and the industry. So definitely want to be in that passionate zone. Okay, so operations, the basic operational premise. So obviously here we have prospects, right? We've talked a lot in the last couple of weeks about expireds and for sale by owners. You have open houses, which definitely do work. And then you have your network or your sphere of influence, your top 50. And then if any of you are farming or plan to farm, that would be a place where you could, would be a lead funnel as well. And then what is that going to do? That's going to generate new business, right? And we're focusing on buyers and sellers. And then we have all of our marketing that we're going to talk about in some classes coming up. And then obviously client care, right? We need to make sure we have a good solid CRM. If you're not using Booge, I don't care what you're using, but make sure you have something that isn't a notebook or your Google contacts. Okay, we definitely want to be using something to put people into. I coached a gal for a little while, a couple years ago. She'd been in the business 30 years. Her family had restaurants in the area, so her name had a lot of clout in this community. And I asked her what her CRM was, and she literally said a notebook and a floppy disk. And so, yeah, don't do that, right? Because your CRM, your database is gold. Because once you start making those relationships, you want to have them somewhere where you can follow up and stay in touch. Okay, so the dollar productive activities, again, we have a 2-hour class that dives into, there are 47 in each for listings and for buyers, but these are the vital responsibilities, and then we have the activities underneath that in that class. And that, I'm gonna guess that's probably gonna come up in January. So we have lead gen and lead conversion. They are number 1 and 2 in both working buyers and sellers for a reason. Right? We cannot get out of bed in the morning and wonder who needs our services, right? We need to have that pipeline churning so that every day we've got business coming in. And so lead gen, it's prospecting, right? We need to do it every single day. You can't send out one holiday card and tell me that it doesn't work, right? Because it's not going to work. And so you have to be consistent in that. And I know the pandemic has really thrown a huge wrench on all of our marketing plans, but trying to find ways that you can still be top of mind with people and maintaining safe protocol. Lead conversion, right? We got to be able, once we generate the lead, right? We got to be able to say the right things to get that person to work with us. Your admin prep, you guys, 75% of what we do and the time we spend on a real estate transaction is non-money making activities. So it is admin work, right? And we argue this, right, when we talk about daily points, but home inspection, attending a home inspection has to be done, but it's not a money making activity. Negotiating the Benzer is, but the actual attendance of that is not. So if you're not using a transaction coordinator, I would highly encourage you to talk to one of the gals that we have, because they're all amazing, and they take all of that paperwork off your plate. And then marketing and exposure, that's my favorite. Negotiating, right, and presenting the offers, also my favorite. And then closing prep and post-closing activities. So that's your follow-up after the fact. When working with buyers, obviously that's showing, writing and negotiating, closing prep, and then your post-closing activities. And like I said, we have a class, especially for the newbies, that goes into each of these 7 responsibilities in a deep dive, okay? So video is a vital activity, and is considered a dollar productive activity, right? For both buyer and seller. You write down that Dia has joined us, and Dia and Linda, I will, when we get done with class, I'll make sure you get the materials, okay? I just don't want to stop my share screen at the moment, but I will make sure I send those over to you guys. All right, so section 3. So scripts, let's talk about some scripts. We would not have a momentum class by scripts, right? Dia, I'm going to put you on mute, okay? All right, very good. All right, so before you can incorporate the video messaging into your vital activities, we want to be proactive and intentional. You guys see that as a common thing we're talking about today, and then mapping that out ahead of time. So one of the things we talked about was lack of confidence, lack of discipline. And so how do we overcome that? Well, here it is, right? So we want to figure out what it is that we're going to do. We're going to map out the message ahead of time. And it was cute. A couple weeks ago, Anu had shared that when he did his first Facebook Live, he had practiced his script over and over again and had it all down pat. And then as soon as the live went, everything went out of his head and he completely forgot his whole script, right? And so I think that happens even to the best of us, right? And so, but over time, and the more you do it, the more practice you do it, I think that will happen less and less, okay? So personalize, so fit the content to deliver in your own dialogue. So I'm gonna give you guys some scripts. There's some key components to it that you probably don't want to change, but just like a great actor or actress, they take the script and then they they become a part of the script, right? And so we can take all this stuff, and the more that you do it, the more that it sounds like it's coming from your own words. And that's where I get a lot of pushback from agents, is like, well, I feel like it's phony, I feel like it's canned. That's okay, because over time and practicing it, it won't feel that way. Okay. Memorize the best that you can. So be the subject matter expert. Internalize, right? So practice it, so live it, display your values and expertise at all times, and then customize. So we want to adapt the content to deliver to the audience. Okay. And if your audience is different, a first-time buyer versus a move-up buyer, two different audiences, right? Two different people and experiences that they've had. Okay, so just thinking about who is the audience, and we talk about that a lot, like defining who is your specific customer or client or whatever it is. When you hire somebody, you want to think about who's this person that you're going to bring into your business. And so it's the same thing here, is who's my audience, right? Who am I speaking to? All right, so building the video script. So step one, you want to warm up, right? Introduce yourself with a smile, practice, do we used to talk about in Toastmasters of doing those breathing and lip up exercises, right? To help you get relaxed and kind of in the state, right? So smile, right? Even, a smile can go a long way, and it helps us relax. And then have the item of value or a hook in the very beginning. So it sparks the curiosity in the first 10 seconds. And we're going to go through this a little bit more in detail. Step two is deliver the message, right? So focus on the relevant, value-driven content for your ideal audience. And then speak as you're the expert, right? Again, be the resource hub. And then adapt the content to your audience. And then lastly, you're going to close with a friendly close. Thank them for listening, and again, smile, right? And this is where you're going to include your call to action, your CTA, so which continues the conversation and the engagement. Okay, so like when you're doing a Facebook Live, for example, Tommy, what you could do is, check out this kitchen. I love and zoom in on the granite and give like the details of the granite and the richness of it and the color, and kind of thinking about, like, could you imagine sitting here drinking your coffee, and really doing the storytelling, but then highlighting those things that are specific amenities or features that maybe I wouldn't see unless I was actually walking the house, right, on that video. Okay. And then the call to action would be, comment below, you guys. What do you think? Do you love this granite, or do you hate it? And then that way, as they're watching it, then hopefully they're giving you a like or commenting or a heart or something on that Facebook Live. Okay. So you can do, when you're doing the lives, you can do call to actions throughout the lives, right? And if I'm tuning in at different times, then I can hear that, and then it's going to cause that engagement. And a lot of things too with the lives, you guys, and I'll move on from live Facebook, but a lot of the video is watched after the live is done. So don't be disappointed if you don't have a lot of people tune in while you're live. The majority of the views take place after, okay, later in the day, right? All right, so warm up. So have you recently listed your property, wondering how to stage it to get the most offers? And then, hi, I'm Linda Raywell from Remax Professionals. So that's your warm up, right? That's the hook, okay? And then deliver the message with my step-by-step guide on how to stage your home properly. You'll impress even the most particular buyers out there without compromising your budget. And then the friendly close. I gotta move you guys. Discover these tips by simply clicking the link below. I'd love to hear more from you. Let's have some fun. Comment below what really impressed you during the showing. Thanks for listening, and happy staging. So that's again, another call to action there is comments, right? Let's engage. Tell me what you think, okay? The love it or hate it, those do really well on stuff like that, because people can comment, and boy, do people love to give their opinion on social media, right? So we want to practice, right? Practice the structure and flow. Practice and prep, you guys, is the easiest, most effective way to overcome nerves. And if you've ever done public speaking, that's what they'll tell you, right? Is the more you practice, the more you know it. And even if you get up there and don't use your notes, or do use your notes, right? The more that you practice, it will bring down your nerves, and it will build your confidence. All right, so here's your first script. So this is talking about expired and terminated listings, so canceled listings. So when we talked about recently we talked about the expireds, and there's quite a few expireds in the MLS, which again is really surprising to me with how hot the market is. So I feel like there's some really good opportunity there. And as we get closer to the end of the year, you guys, the last month of the year is a really high month for expired listings, because that people tend to write listing agreements through the end of the year. And so if you haven't done expireds, it might be time to kind of think about it and just at least give a little stab at it to try to get some inventory. And so here's the script. So, and then again, this will be on video. Hi, I recently came across your home for sale, and I'm curious if you'd still be interested in a more effective and a proactive way to sell your home. That's the hook. This is Sarah with Remax Professionals. I specialize in homes that should have sold but didn't. I would love to spend some time discussing your options in getting your home sold and gain an understanding of exactly what you need in a successful transaction. Feel free to reach out to me on email anytime, or if you have any questions that you may have. If it's okay with you, I'd like to reach back in a few days and check in. That's the call to action. Hope to see you soon. Have a fantastic day, which is your friendly close. Now, how are you getting this information out? So most of your guys' CRMs have a video component. I will tell you, if you don't, BombBomb is a Remax endorsed vendor that we work with, that's all they do is push video content out and email content. And so it's a real great, it's so easy, right? You can log into your BombBomb and you can record right from your BombBomb, or you can upload a video in there. So you could create all these videos, store them in BombBomb, and then just launch your plans, and then they would go out automatically, okay? And not that I'm saying run out and buy another tool, but if your current CRM does not support video email, then that is a great one that's very reasonable, and it's a Remax approved supplier. All right, so sample number 2. So this is for farming or a traditional outreach to your social networks. So let's see, if I could sell your home in the next 30 to 45 days, would you? Hi, this is Sarah with Remax Professionals, and in the selling season is upon us. As your realtor with 23 years of experience, my main focus and priority is you and your time frame. In fact, my roots deeply run in, and fill in the blank, so I feel a strong connection to the community, and therefore a duty to ensure that the home selling process is as smooth as possible for each and every one of my clients, no matter what the deadline may be. To help you out, explore the housing report I've attached to this video. Let's partner to find you the home of your dreams. So it could be, again, my roots run deeply in Anthem or wherever, Surprise, wherever you're at, okay? And again, pushing out the Remax has that monthly national housing report that you can get off YouTube. So definitely take advantage of that. It's a national housing report, so it's a little broader scope, but it's still really nice, and it's 30 seconds. So that's something you could push out as well. And I do believe that there's a PDF of it that you guys can download if you wanted to do an attachment like the video is saying.
Sarah, the one that MLS just sent out today by Tom Ruff is excellent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Linda, I saw that email come across. I'm like, I got to read this. So that looks like great content. Great data, right? Anything we can educate people on with the statistics. All right, so open house. So this could be the hook, Tommy, on your next open house video. Say, hey everyone, quick question. What are you doing today? So you won't want to miss this opportunity. Hi, this is Tommy with Remax Professionals, and I'll be hosting an open house for, put in the address and the date and the time. As an extra service to this client, I'm going to stay away from the word family. To this client, I'll be posting a virtual tour of this home as well. If you know anyone who's interested in moving into the area, please don't hesitate to reach out. See you soon, or see you at this address on this day. Okay. I love that hook. Hey everybody, what are you doing today? Right. That's a great hook. All right, so continuing on with our next example for farming. So this is website or social marketing. So forget everything you currently know about the real estate process. You don't hear that every day, do you? Hi, this is Sarah with Remax Professionals, and I do things a bit differently than the average agent. My primary goal within a real estate transaction is to make sure you receive full value of service and full value for your next home. Full service to me entails having a conversation, not just presenting listings I think you'd like. It's about getting to really know you and your family in order to find the perfect fit for your needs and wants. Check out the testimonial link to this video, and just for fun, comment with one word describing your dream home. Thanks and have a great day. I love that. How many of you guys could do that on your social media? I think that's pretty cool, right? That's a great script and just easy. And you could boost that out on your business pages. And again, you guys, once you create this content, it's there, right? And you don't have, that's the cool thing about video, unless it's like 10 years old and you don't look like that same person, then you need to update them, just like we need to update our marketing photos. But for the most part, video, once it's done, it could live on for a very, very long time. And so you could run this over and over and over again. All right, so let's have a little discussion. So what do you guys think of those dialogues, and are they spurring you to have other thoughts and other creativity?
I got a lot out of it so far. I'm good. I'm happy. I got a lot of notes.
Awesome, very good.
I think, oh, this is Jessica speaking. I think that they're very helpful because like then you can also like make it your own, like you said, and you can like kind of change it up a little bit so you could go along with what you're going for. But they do help a lot, I think.
Awesome, very good. Mary, were you going to say something? No, okay. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I hope, it's just a base, right, to get you excited and get you thinking. But, quite literally, there's video content that could be done on every process of this. And, don't forget to have some humor in it too. I love the video of the lady, she's somewhere in the Midwest, who slipped and fell during a showing appointment, and her dress went up over her head, and her client, fortunately, I don't think her client saw her, or at least the client said he didn't see anything, but it was the funniest darn video I've seen on social in a long time, because this lady, it's all something we can relate to. I mean, I haven't slipped and fallen with my dress over my head, but I have fallen during a showing, and it's horrifying, right? And so could you, and it doesn't have to be something making fun of yourself, but could you share some funny things that are happening that are everyday things in this industry, stuff that happens? And we've all seen that picture of the snake wrapped around the door of this house, and the agent was going to show it. Could you create video around things like that, right? And talking about that stuff, because there's crazy stuff that happens every day in this industry. So how can we turn that into video content that gains that connection and relatability? So like I said, always in the back of your mind, is this worthy of posting, right? Is this worthy of a video? Okay. And we're going to get into in the second half about video length and all that stuff. So, because a lot of us think video and we think, oh my gosh, I got to talk for 10 minutes. And in fact, you really don't. And so the materials actually give you specific links for each of the different platforms, which is super helpful. Okay. So lead conversion and video. So utilizing video within your lead generation, right? Because it is a vital activity. It is a money-making activity. So we want to have opportunities to convert those leads into lifelong clients, and more importantly, advocates for your brand, right? So advocates, raving fans, you guys. I know Linda's got a whole bunch of raving fans, and she's been doing this for a long time, and her clients love her. And for me personally, if I had to go buy a Boomtown account, and I think Boomtown's a great product, so no, I'm not bashing on them. It's just a different product, right? It's all online leads. If I had to do that and make 100 phone calls a day to people who I don't know, I would probably be out of this industry, because that does not fulfill me as a person. Now, can I go and love on my advocates and my raving fans and create relationships? I can do that all day long, right? And then the byproduct is that they trust me and they refer me, right? And so we want to create lifelong clients, okay? Good number to have, especially for newbies. The average client is worth about $65,000. Right? So it's not just about the transaction that you're helping them with then, it's about their future business and all their referral business. Linda, you came
Can
up.
I say something?
Yeah, please.
So I just double dipped the $740,000 listing. The buyers were referred to me. The seller was referred to me. I just closed a $905,000 listing. My buyers referred them to me. I just, I'm going on a walkthrough today at 2 o'clock. They were referred to me by clients of mine from, I think, about 15 years ago. It's 755. So these people are just being handed to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me lazy though. I want to do these videos. So anyway, that's why I'm watching this today. I really need to do some video stuff.
Well, and I would think that you're pretty natural. So I would think that once you have it where you're comfortable with the messaging, because you are very well spoken, so you'll be okay. You just need to embrace it. Right?
Practice. I just need to practice doing it.
Yep. Yeah. And, I have a client that does a lot of videos. She's back in Michigan, but she got one of those like it's like a teleprompter that she puts in front of her, and so she reads from that. So that might be something to look into. I'm not sure. I'm going to give you guys some materials and reference points on where to go get stuff, but that might be something, Linda, to help you, because if you could script it out and have it in front of you, that might help. So that might help all of you to have something like that. So it's just practice, right? And then I would, solicit someone close to you, do a practice run and send it to somebody and have them critique it for you, if you trust somebody to do that. One thing I heard from a BombBomb speaker in a class I took, they said, don't ever watch back what you recorded, because all you're going to do is pick it apart and you won't use it. So I don't know how true that is for the majority of people, but as long as it doesn't have major mess ups in it, I would think your first run might be your best run. Okay, so advocates, right? We want raving fans that would not do business without you and wouldn't let anybody they know do business without you. Okay, so this is your lead conversion, your lead conversion language, right? So we want to be specific and personal to the individual as much as possible. All right, so let's continue on with our scripts. So this is for confirming an appointment and arriving on time, which is one of our core values, right? We don't want to be late. And, as an industry, I get confirmations from all kinds of things, my hair appointment, doctor appointments, but we tend to not do that as an industry. And so I think it's an important thing that we do to separate ourselves from the pack. So here's the script. So, hey, I'm super excited to be meeting with you at your home tomorrow at 6 p.m. A few things I wanted to share ahead of time. Please have XYZ documents ready to go so we can make the most of our time together tomorrow. Also, I'd love to know what your go-to coffee order is. I'll swing by on my way, and I would love to treat you to a fresh cup of coffee for our meeting. Look forward to seeing you and your family tomorrow and please reach out if you need anything before then. And of course, all your documents, right? What might that be? Seller disclosure, your VIP form if you're using one, any of those things that are ancillary that we need to have filled out, right? Could you include a link so that they fill those out? I will tell you, when I was on Nate's team, we used to send a pre-listing bag. We would drop off a pre-listing package the day or two before, depending on where it was at and the route that the team had. And inside that bag had our seller guide. It had the seller disclosure. It had our VIP, which includes like birthdays, anniversaries, loan information, that sort of stuff. And then we had our pet alert and the instructions that said, this is what we need to list your house. Keys, blah, 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 right? If we walked into that appointment and that stuff was sitting on the kitchen table, that was basically, I'm getting this listing, right? And so it was a very effective close because we were giving them permission to hire us before we even got there. So now you send a video, and you send a video with your face, right? And especially if they've never met you, now they've got your face, and you offer to bring them a fresh cup of coffee. I think that's pretty cool, right? How many realtors are actually doing that? How many are actually sending a message to confirm the appointment, but then offering to do that? And then the assumptive close is having those documents ready for our appointment. Okay. So I love this one. I like all of them if you haven't figured that out yet, but this is, to me, is one of my favorites here. All right, follow up to the listing conversation. So hi, Fawn, I hope you're having a great, wonderful day. First, I just want to say how appreciative I am that you took the time to meet with me yesterday. I want you to understand that from the very beginning that my goal is not to come in and give you a presentation about what I think you want to hear, but rather to have a conversation to see if a win-win working relationship can be created. In order to do that, I'd love to hear a little more from you. What one thing has happened to make the experience of selling the experience of selling your home top in the charts? I want to ensure a positive and productive and successful experience for you and your family. I can't wait to hear from you. Thank you and have a great day. So talk about improving your game, right? What is one thing that I have to do that makes sure that your experience is amazing? Right. And sometimes that's that lack of communication. I remember getting a survey from a buyer that I worked years and years ago, and she gave me just a 5, right? She said it was just average. And it really bugged me. I was like, well, why did I get a 5? Because I'm not a 5. Like, I give exceptional service. And it was one thing that her other Remax agent had done that I didn't do, but I didn't even know what it was. Because it was something I could have easily done for her, but because I didn't ask and I didn't have that conversation with her, I failed to meet her expectation. And she was not unhappy. She just gave me an average experience. And so when we think about that, what can I do to make this the best experience for you? And then shut up and listen and let them give you that information. Right? Tommy, do you got something to add?
I was gonna ask, what was it? What was the criteria that you were missing on it?
I knew you were going to ask me that. I don't remember. That was like 22 years ago. I don't remember what it was, but it was something that I remember being really like upset about it because it was like, I could have easily done that, but I didn't know. So I didn't know that that was an expectation she had. So that's where we have to humble ourselves, right? Just to make sure we aren't going in there thinking that we have all the answers, right? We have most of the answers, but sometimes there's something that we need to express. And by asking, what do I have to do in order to make this a win for you? Then if I would have had that conversation with her, I would have been able to meet that expectation. All right, so build rapport. So we talked about the Ford script, right? Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. So hey, hey, Smith family, it's Sarah here with Remax Professionals. I was just thinking about how you told me your son or daughter was involved in football, and recently I came across a listing that I think they would adore. It has an amazing space for football, not to mention the kitchen that you've been hoping for. As I mentioned, my number one priority is to make sure you get the home you want, and more importantly, want the home you get. Let me know if you have certain, close with a date and time that would be convenient to scheduling a showing. Can't wait to see you. Have a great day. We've talked about this before, and even taking it with video ups the ante, but even just when you're doing lead follow-up in general, try to be tangible. And so all of us get into that habit of follow up. Hey, are you ready to go look at houses? Hey, are you ready to buy a house? And people don't want to be sold. Instead, Jessica, hey, I was thinking about you today. I came across this property, which is kind of what this is talking about, but it's involving the kids, right? And if their kids are important to them, which hopefully everybody's kids are important to them, they make buying decisions based on what's good for their family, right? And what their family needs. So by you involving the child and the child's activity demonstrates that you're listening, that you care not just about the sale, but you care about the whole family in the decision. Does that make sense? I mean, there's a lot of meat to this script. So I want you guys to really, think about it's tangible. So I'm trying to get them out to look at a house. I'm letting them know I'm thinking about them. I've paid attention to the details of their family. Okay, so there's a lot to this. All right, so cover the roles and expectations. So hello, Sue. It was wonderful meeting you yesterday. My goal as a realtor is to ensure our working relationship is one that focuses on creating a win-win during our time together. In my experience, I've come to learn that conflict only arises when expectations differ. To make sure our valuable time was spent wisely, I have attached a list of things you can expect from me, as well as what I feel I can expect of you as a partner. Let's review these next time we meet, whatever day and time, if you have an appointment set, so I can answer any of your questions that you may have. I'm really looking forward to partnering with you and your home buying journey. Can't wait for what the future holds. What he's referring to in this script is, you guys are going to get this in the buyer conversion class. It's a list of my roles and your roles. And so it outlines what the buyer needs to do or not do, like don't go buy new furniture or a new car. And then it outlines what you're going to do as their agent, and it ties along with all the fiduciary duties. And so you could take that and attach it to the email, and then now they've got that information of what they can expect from you and what you expect from them. All right, so any other thoughts on these scripts? Anything you guys want to add? Conversation, dialogue, anything come up for you while we were going through this? No, you guys are all quiet today, so you need more coffee. All right, so marketing. So this is getting into just listed. So if you have a farm area and you've got email addresses that you could send video, or if it's, you obviously have to have a way to get the video to people, right? And I will tell you, RedX, which is a company that you can buy lists from, they do have an upgrade on that can provide email addresses. So there is a service out there. You just got to be real careful. What Shannon said at the risk management meeting is that you're scrubbing that data, okay? So you're not putting yourself in a situation where you're going to get in trouble, right? With the do not contact rules. Okay, so hi, Sue. This is Sarah with Remax Professionals. For the past, 11 months. Oh yeah. Well, okay. So you're going to have data. So sorry. So for the past 12 months, this neighborhood has been highly sought after. Today, I want to let you know that I've just listed this beautiful home at 123 Easy Street. As a realtor, I believe in being intentional and proactive. So as an extra service to my client, I'm expanding my market plan to include a personal just listed video. If you happen to run across someone who would like to live in this highly desirable neighborhood, please let me know. And oh, by the way, I've listed the property for $250,000. Thanks and have a great day. So again, you got to have a list to send this out to. This is also a door knocking script. If we ever get back to being able to door knock, it's also a script that you could use for that as well. Now, could you take this a similar part before I move on? Could you take a similar part of this and then push that out onto your social media? Or if you have a Facebook page for that community, you certainly could, right? So you could push it out through social media and use the same script, but it's not going to a specific email address. It's going to a targeted audience on social media. Oh, I skipped one. Okay. So here's the just sold. So hi, this is Sarah with Remax Professionals. Just sold. 2 words every family loves to hear during the sales process. Well, this dream home, or this dream became a reality for the owners of 123 Easy Street. During this process, I came across many other buyers interested in purchasing a home within the XYZ neighborhood. If you happen to run across someone who is interested in selling, please keep me in mind. I'm never too busy for your referrals. And oh, by the way, I sold this property for $250,000. Thanks and have a great day. And so again, could we push this out on social? Sure, right? It is a door knocking script. And again, if you're gonna, do something like Red X, if you do the upgrade, they do have email addresses that you could push out. I have a client who farms an area and she serves on the HOA. Actually, I have a couple clients and they have access to the homeowners through the HOA email address. I don't know how ethical that is that they do that, but they do have email addresses that way. And so however you got to go about getting the email addresses for your farm areas, think outside the box on that. All right. So staying in flow. So when we say stay in flow, this is your top 50s, your raving fans, your database, right? And so staying in contact with them on a regular basis. We've talked in other classes about, having your 12-month marketing plan, and that, one holiday card isn't good enough to stay in flow, right? And in Momentum, when you take the marketing class, we actually walk through a 33 touch in flow process that goes for the whole year. So when you guys take that class, you'll get all of that. So leverage the humanization, the humanizing element to video messaging in an effort to nurture relationships and stay in flow with your sphere on a regular basis. So opportunities to stay in flow with your clients can arise anytime during the process as well as after, right? After is probably the most important, right? I mean, in flow during is important too, but staying in contact with them regularly after it's over so that you can continue to get those referrals and future business. You can't just, cash the check and then they never hear from you. How would you connect with your clients on a personal level throughout and post transaction? So we've got some samples here. So this is the wellness check. And I think wellness checks right now, really critical, you guys, especially going into the holidays. I just addressed my top 50 envelopes to offer to send pies for Thanksgiving because the holidays could look really different for people this year. And, I think the holidays already create a little bit of a depression factor for some people. And so could that be compounded with the pandemic? Absolutely. Right. So I think the wellness call should be happening right now. Like, it should be critical, like something you're all doing every single day intentionally. Okay, so hi Sue, Sarah with Remax Professionals here. I was just in your neighborhood today and you crossed my mind. I wanted to reach out to see how you and your family were doing. I hope you're able to take some time off from church or whatever activity they're doing and get some rest and relaxation that you deserve. It was such a joy to work with you and your family. Please know that I am always open to any referrals you send my way. I hope your new home is treating you well and look forward to helping you with your next dream home. Take care. And so on a wellness check for me during COVID, I don't think I'm talking about any of that. I think I'm just talking about, hey, how you doing? How's your family? How are you navigating this? And And, you know, if they talk about losing their jobs, then we need to switch the conversation and talk about mortgage forbearance versus, you know, what is it, forbearance versus forgiveness. And so we need to switch gears and talk about that, because you know, 30% of the homes in the United States are owned free and clear, and majority of people that the other 70% have 20% or more in equity. So Mary, there's no reason that somebody should go to foreclosure right now, other than just purely not knowing any difference. Okay. And I know that that's not necessarily a conversation we want to have, right? But it's a critical conversation we need to have with people that might be in that situation. Okay. So for me right now, wellness, I'm probably not talking about referrals at this point. I'm probably focusing on just truly, how are you doing? Is there anything I can do to help you? Okay. And so imagine getting that type of a text or an email from you, but it's on video. Right? I can call Mary and leave a message to that degree, but if I get a video from you and you see my face, you hear my inflection, you hear the sincerity in my voice, do you think that changes the engagement? For sure, right?
How are we supposed, I mean, are we supposed to, I guess what I'm saying is, do you have to use BombBomb to do that? Or is there a way to do videos and send them like that or in an email without using BombBomb?
Who's your CRM?
I have Boosh.
Okay, you should be able to send video through Boosh.
So you just record it on your phone, like as a video?
Your phone or your desktop, and then upload it.
You can upload it directly. You don't have to edit it or anything.
Well, I mean, if your video needs to be edited, I would upload the final product, right? Let me make a note to have Alex do a class on that, okay?
That would be great.
No, hold on. Where's my list? Alex, Boosh, video, email. Okay. Yeah, so your CRM should have that ability. If it doesn't, then you know we'll have to talk about that. You can send quick videos too via text, just depending on what, if you have an Android or a Apple, the length of it. Okay, so you can use your phone too if that's one way to get the video out. All right, so next example. So if they chose to work with a different agent. So hi Sue, Sarah with Remax Professionals here. I wanted to send a quick thank you video to send my sincerest congratulations on choosing an agent. Although we won't be working together, I wish you much success and happiness in the sale of your home. If I can ever be of service to you or anyone you know, please feel free to contact me. Again, congratulations, and remember, high achievement always takes place in the framework of high expectation. Take care and be well. And so you could send that out again, you know, via email or via text. I think you could easily get that script out in the time frame for a text message video. And here's the thing. If something happens with that agent and it fails to sell, or something happens in the relationship, who do you think they're going to remember to come back to as their second choice? Because you sent this nice video that was very professional out, right? They're going to call you. All right. Let's see. How are we doing on time? 10:10. Okay. I think, well, what do you guys want to do? Do you want me to keep going, or do we want to break and resume and do sections 4 and 5 next week? What do you want to do?
I'm good with keep going.
Okay. Anybody else?
I mean, I'm good. We can keep going. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see how far we get. So maybe we'll go till 10:30 and then we'll break then. Just don't necessarily want to break in the middle of a section, but we'll see where we get. All right, so getting tactical. So we want to be clear, concise, and intriguing. So share enough information that sparks curiosity, encourage the audience to continue the conversation with you elsewhere, right? Adjust the video link to the following recommendations and approximate timeframes. So I would definitely bookmark this in your materials or take a screenshot of this, because this is important, right? Personal messages, 60 to 90 seconds. And then that answers our questions, right, on text. So 60 to 90 seconds, text or email. On Facebook, if it's pre-recorded content, no longer than 2 minutes. Twitter is 30 seconds. Instagram is 60 seconds. And YouTube is, or Vimeo, is 2 to 5 minutes. So remember, pre-recorded, right? That's different than a Facebook Live. So you, and I don't know if anybody's, I could probably reach out to Kyle and find out on Facebook Live what the rule of thumb is on that. But there is a rule of thumb on how long you should go live for. And so, you know, again, take a screenshot of this, and any of you guys could talk for 2 to 5 minutes about something, right? Especially if it's evergreen content. Some of us could talk longer than that. So personal messages or email, 60 to 90, Facebook, 2 minutes, Twitter, 30 seconds. Twitter's nice and quick. And then Instagram, 60 seconds, and YouTube, 2 to 5 minutes. Anybody doing video on Instagram? Jessica, I know you mentioned having Instagram. I know you're new, so you probably haven't done any real estate stuff, but have you done other video on Instagram?
Yeah, I've done videos on Instagram. It's fairly easy, I think. It's just like Facebook, yeah.
Just like Facebook. Are you preloading or are you doing it live?
I've done lives before, but I've also done like edited videos where you like edit them together, yeah.
Okay. Okay, awesome. And you're just using your phone?
Yeah, you can use your phone, you can use your Mac as well to do them.
Okay, awesome. Good. All right. So it's important that you open with a hook, right? Say something of value or something that's extremely important within the first 10 seconds. So let's have a little discussion about that. What's a hook? What's a good hook? So if you're doing an open house, for example, besides what are you doing today, what would be another good hook?
When I think of hooks, for some reason, I always think of Carol Baskin and like her Cool Cats and Kittens little introduction that she does. I don't know why, but I would say like, hi guys, or hi Remax friends, or something like that, to try to get them involved for sure.
Okay. So we'll have to look. Carol, is that the Tiger King lady?
Yeah, the Tiger King lady. Yeah.
So if you watch some of Nate's videos, he has this little caption that plays every time that says something to the effect of, hi, this is Nate Martinez. I've been working, selling real estate in the Valley of the Sun for more than 30 years, and this is how we do it. And then it has a quick little jingle, and then he goes into his content. So I would encourage you guys to check out some people who are doing good video and see what their hooks are. The hook is super, super critical because it's basically, am I going to get your attention in that first 10 seconds to hang in there? And, you don't have a lot of time to hook somebody to get them to see the whole message, right? And so really being creative and think outside the box. And, I hate those sensationalized headers on news feeds, but do they work? Do they get you to click on it? Yeah, they do, right? It makes me mad because I'm like, darn it, why am I clicking on this? But it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do, right? It's sensationalized and it catches my attention. So then I want to click on it and go off Facebook to read the article or read or watch or do whatever. Okay, so really being intentional when you think about your hooks. And if I were watching this, Debbie, and I was about to click on this video, what am I? And again, you only have to, the most people, if they're going to tune in, they tune out in the first 10 seconds, right? And so on a video. So that's why that hook is super important. So I would go through each of the things that you guys are going to do video around and come up with a clever hook, right? And then again, go study what other people are doing too to give you some inspiration, right? All right, so best days and times to post on social media. So these are the suggested times, right? And again, remember what we talked about last week is this stuff changes. So you wanna make sure you're updating it. So utilize the suggested times as a starting point. Okay, it's important to track, evaluate, and improve your tactics on a regular basis. So what does that mean? That means go into your own insights on your Facebook page and see when people are on your page. Right? Pay attention to when they're engaging with you. Every audience is different, right? And so, you can use these as a base, right? But then go in after you've got some content developed over time and look and see what actually is working for your page. So again, we talked about this last week, but Facebook any day of the week at 11 a.m. And I think the weekends they used to not be on the radar for posting. It used to say not to on business pages, but now people are on there all the time. And I almost think Saturdays and Sundays are a better time to engage people because most people have a regular 8 to 5 Monday through Friday job. Instagram Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 11 a.m., Tuesday at 2 p.m. Twitter is Friday at between 7 and 9 a.m. And LinkedIn is Wednesday at 3 p.m., Thursday between 9 and 10, and Friday between 11 and 12. And I wrote down in my notes yesterday to try to get somebody in to do a LinkedIn class, because I keep hearing from all these industry experts that we're missing the boat on LinkedIn, but I'm not sure what boat we're missing, Mary. So what are we supposed to be doing with LinkedIn besides having a profile, right? And posting content. And so I'm going to try to make that happen for you guys so we can all learn a little bit more about this LinkedIn that we're missing the boat on. So the hint at the bottom, the average attention span for video consumption is roughly 60 seconds. So utilize those 60 seconds wisely. So have your hook, right? And a strong call to action. All right, so supplement your video message with readable content. So make it easy, the easiest possible for your viewers to engage further. Anticipate objections, right, that your audience may have for engaging further, and help the audience overcome those roadblocks by providing easy to understand and follow directions. For example, where to locate a certain tool, resource, or additional information on content mentioned in the video. So I'm going to post a link below, click on that to get this information. If you want to convert the audience into advocates for your brand, give them specific directives. Okay, so review your scripts and practice your flow. Have a conversation with the viewer through the lens of your camera. Is that awkward to do? When I have to do webinars and I can't see anybody in the webinar, it is so awkward for me as a presenter, because I want to be able to, even though you guys are just a little box on my side of my computer here, I can still see your faces, right? Unless you're in witness protection, I can still see your face, and it makes it easier for me because I can look at you, right? I can call on you. When we're doing a webinar, it's just my blue dot looking at me on my computer, right? And so, that's where we have to get good with that, is pretending that there's somebody on the other side, even if it's your cameraman, right? And hopefully your cameraman isn't making funny faces to throw you off guard, right? And so having the conversations through the lens. So even maybe putting a picture of somebody over there so you could look at someone that you're looking at, right? Instead of just staring at your blue dot. So review the concept or idea you want to portray and practice, right? Practice the structure and the flow of your message. And so again, maybe get that whiteboard or the teleprompter in front of you so you can have your script. And then adapt to the different audiences as necessary. And again, when we talk about different audiences, a first-time home buyer is going to be a different audience than a move-up or a retiree or a luxury buyer, or any of those. Fill in the blanks, right? They just speak a different language. Okay, so speaking directly to that audience. So don't overthink how you look. Just do it. Right? And then we've talked about this, that I don't like the way I sound, I need to lose weight, etc., etc. So again, they're not coming over to look at your baseboards. They're not tuning into your video to see, what your voice sounds like. They already know that, right? They're tuning in to try to connect with you. So start and end with a smile. That disarm your audience, right? Humanize yourself and inject your personality by sharing a genuine and caring disposition. Okay, practice self-awareness. So your body language, be open and ready to engage with your audience. And I know that sounds kind of hard to do on video, right? But watch some other people that are doing it, and the ones that are really killing it with video, and see what they're doing, right? How are they using their body language to engage with people? Lighting. Face a window or have a light to illuminate shadows and illuminate your face. Yesterday, I was in the surprise office and I did a Zoom call, and the lighting was terrible in there. I was looking at my face. I'm like, this is horrible. You can buy those little lights that sit on your laptop and they shine right on your face. Just make sure that if you have glasses that they don't shine back on your screen, because that's kind of distracting, and it looks like you have these round, like you're on a spaceship type thing in your glasses. So make sure you point it where it's doing its job but not causing an issue in your video. Okay, so good lighting is important. It makes you look better, and then it also is not distracting to the person watching it. Backgrounds, choose a space that's comfortable and positive that represents how you operate. I know some of us have had fun with the virtual backgrounds, but if your computer doesn't support that virtual background or you don't have a green screen set up right, it actually looks really weird and you look like you're about to be beamed up onto the US Enterprise. So, and especially if there's two of you trying to do that, it really looks like it. So make sure, but make sure it's not distracting, right? And make sure that it's appropriate. And you don't want to just be a blank wall either, right? You want to have something behind you that makes you look good, right? But also not distracting where the person watching the video is going, what is that back there? What does Tommy have on his bookshelves back there? I think it was Alex that shared with us that the #1 Zoom background of choice was bookshelves. I don't know how accurate that is now. That was a couple weeks ago, but that was like the #1 thing for people to pick. So just make sure it's appropriate and it conveys. That's why I like The Office, because we have all that nice Remax stuff that's in there, and it's already kind of looks professional. So you could use that room to create your video. Eliminate distractions, right? For you and your viewers, avoid flashy clothing and jewelry, things that might make a lot of noise. They even say that when you're presenting, right? Don't have things that are distracting to the audience, and that you make sure your content is the only thing grabbing the viewer's attention. So that applies to family, right? It hasn't happened to me, but I've heard people getting Zoom bombed by their spouse walking naked to the bathroom. Hasn't happened to me, but I have heard stories, right? And so, go ahead.
Did you hear about the news reporter yesterday?
Tell me more.
He was I guess one of the major mainstream media. He was one of the legal consultants, and he got caught. I guess he was. I don't want to use the word, but he was playing with himself, and he got busted. It went live. I guess he had 2 screens up. It was all over yesterday. It was pretty funny. Like, how do you mess that up? Like, what are you doing?
Wow. I bet he's out of a job today. Oof.
Yeah, he was reprimanded. He's a highly respected guy. I think he's CNN's major legal consultant. He always chimes in on stuff. Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Oh yeah, be careful with that.
Be careful. Yeah.
Mary, what were you gonna say?
Oh, it's silly that I was doing a walkthrough video of a house one time on a Facebook Live, I think. And I'm wearing flip-flops, and as I'm making the video, I can hear my flip-flops go flip-flop, flip-flop. It's like, okay, I need to take off my shoes when I do these.
But that's all stuff you learn, right? You never realize how squeaky your shoes are until you're in the video. Yeah, and I was going to add pets. So I have my dogs are in here, and I did an interview for Workman, and it was perfectly timed, and it worked out great because Burl just ran with it. But my dog barked, but it was the perfect moment because I was talking about pick a charity. There's so many different things out there, whether it's homeless people, veterans, kids, and my dog barked. And Burl parlayed, he's like, or animals. And so just be careful if you've got pets or kids in the background, because that stuff can be, if on a live, there's no undoing that. On recordings, you can obviously delete and start over, but set yourself up from the beginning. You're already going to be a little bit nervous about doing it, so just set yourself up with the right environment, that you don't have those distractions and things happening. So I had a friend of mine, he was doing something, I'm going to guess he was in a therapy session, and his phone went on Facebook Live, and fortunately we could only hear him because his phone was in his pocket. But I messaged him, I was like, I don't think you mean to be on live right now. So somehow his phone in his pocket went live, and it was broadcasting to the world his therapy session. So so eliminate distractions, right? And then just be professional in your attire. Things that make sense, like you don't want to wear a bright colored shirt that's going to make you look bad on camera, right? Always use your swag. Remax, Tommy, I see you got your Remax shirt on. Can you incorporate the brand into any of that stuff that you're doing? Okay, because the brand is the #1 brand in the world, and so lean in on it, use it to your advantage. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna finish on this, and then we'll pick back up tomorrow or next Tuesday on the rest of the content. So this is your homework between now and the next class, is to go find your favorite speakers, right? Comedians, interviewers, actors, any TED Talks. There's great TED Talks out there. You know, Mel Robbins does a lot of video. Tony Robbins does a lot of video. Even Adam Contost, our own CEO, go check out his lives that he does and see if there's anything that you can pick up on. So we want to look at what are the qualities you like in them that you see in their video, and what would you do differently, right? If you were going to critique it, what would you do differently? Okay. And so then when we come back next week, we'll have a little discussion about that. And then also, I think too, is what are ones that are annoying to you and that you tune out, right? There are some people, in my opinion, that abuse Facebook Live. They go on it way too much, right? And I don't care about what you're eating today, right? And so you want to be careful that you're not that guy. Some other things that I've noticed with people is they get sing-songy, even with like news anchors. I watch Channel 3 for the weather, and the girl that does the weather, she's cute, but there are some days when she's super sing-songy. And so what do I mean by that? Like, she gets kind of in that rhythm where she's just like too cutesy, right? And then there's also preachy, so where you're like, you know, preaching at people, and you don't want to do that either. And so I want you guys in your homework to just really observe, you know, people on TV, people on video. What do you like? What would you do different? I'm very critical as an instructor, right? I could be very critical of other instructors, and so, but then I have it apply to me, right? What can I do differently as an instructor? And so that's your guys' homework for today. And then I think also your homework should be to get a video. Let's do a video between now and next week. I don't send it out anywhere, just do one. All right. And then maybe we can share next week's class if you guys are brave enough, and we can give each other some accountability and some love and feedback. And I don't care what the topic is, but just, you know, create a video that's practice. Okay. And then we will come back and talk about that. My final thought on video is you need to put it in your schedule, right? It's got to be in your schedule. If you say you're going to want to do it, and I know it sounds really simplistic, right? It's like, what do you mean, Sarah, put it in my calendar? But it's just like anything else that you do in your business. If it's not on your calendar, it's likely to not get done. And so schedule it out. And the cool thing about video, you guys, is you can go into a studio and knock out a half dozen videos in an hour. You know, once you get in the flow of it, and you just, if you got to change clothes or whatever, you can do that. People aren't necessarily going to remember if you're wearing a black shirt, right? That's a pretty neutral color, Tommy, that you could wear for pretty much any video, right? And so you could knock out a bunch of content all at once, right? And there's different scripts and different things you guys can buy or do, and there's title companies that will help you with it. But honestly, the easiest way to start chunking away at creating video is to put it in your calendar. Okay, put it in your calendar and commit to the time and map out the content, right? And so your guys' homework for this week is to create a video that we're going to watch together next week. And then let's go do some stalking and see what we like and don't like from our favorite people. Okay, sound like a plan? All right, very good. You guys were awfully quiet today, so read through the rest of the materials. Like I said, we will knock out the second half next Tuesday at the same time. Sound good?
Sounds great. Thank you,
Yes,
Sarah. You were
thank
awesome
you.
today. I learned a lot today. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Great content. It's just, I'm just here to deliver the awesome content. So I'm lucky that Remax provides us with such amazing stuff. So, all right, very good. If you have any questions, reach out, and I'll see you guys. Yeah, broker forum this week. We got Bouge. And then please, please, please do not miss Carl Carter on Thursday, talking about realtor safety. Really special opportunity that we have him coming in to speak to us. So that's at 9 a.m. on Thursday.
Awesome.
All right. Have a great day, you guys. We'll see you later.
Bye,
Thank you,
everyone.
Sarah.
Bye.